Today's video is quite off topic. No reloading, no bonsai, no wood projects, no, no welding, no other hobbies. So I thought I'd step into the AC Tech world. And this story has evolved over the last 7 years, started in 2013. And a little backstory is that in 2013, I decided to replace our then 16, 15, 18-year-old, I'd have to do the math, public school math, decided to replace our air conditioning unit because it never really cooled the house that well. And I thought, it's time to upgrade / replace. And I think that was the unit that then gave me a new perspective on how to repair stuff. From that point on, my methodology for repair is wait till it breaks. No preemptive replacement for repairs, because that thing has been nothing but a nightmare ever since. So in 2013, we got a new outside air compressor unit fan thing, and a big old train unit, no dings on train, and then a new coil up in the attic. Didn't replace the heater. Heater seemed to work fine, and to this day still does. But replaced the unit in 2013. Summer of 2013, everything worked great. Summer of 2014, no coolant. They came out. Took 3 months on and off because it was still under warranty to figure out what they were going to do. Replaced a bunch of parts. Refilled my Freon, which is actually R410A, but people just refer to it as Freon for the coolant. And then summer of 14, everything was fine. Summer of 15, same thing. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, which means not enough pressure in the coolant line. And they came out. Another 2 months of back and forth fighting, blah, blah, between the big box shop and the distributor, manufacturer, and ultimately just recharged the unit, and I had coolant again. And that summer was fine. Fast forward again, 3 years later, I'm out of warranty. And now I'm calling my own service techs, and ultimately they came out and recharged the unit. And each time they recharge, when it was under warranty, it was all covered. But now that it's out of warranty, if anybody's, I think you're paying upwards of $25 a pound for refrigerant, whether that's R22 or 410A or whatever your system uses. And that happened, let's see, 2015, then 2016, same thing. So every year doing the same thing. So in 2017, I had a relationship going with one of the local cooling family-owned businesses, and they came out. This time they did a leak, kind of like a radiator leak thing. So we think we have a leak in the line somewhere, obviously, because the coolant keeps evaporating over a year or two time frame. So they did a leak, and they've done leak tests. Everybody wants to come out and rip all my piping out, and I'm not going to do that for the cost and the lack of a guarantee. We turned the air conditioning on, so they installed the leak thing and recharge unit. That was summer of 2017. That was fine. Summer of 2018, that was fine. Summer of 2019, things were a little bit warmer. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I think in 2020 I'm going to need a recharge. And sure enough, a couple weeks ago, I think it was about 3 weeks ago, we turned on the AC just to give a test. I think it was the first hot day of the year. And I'm blowing out, 83-degree air, essentially ambient air. So what was funny was this collection of stuff started in 2017. So when I watched the guy do the recharge and then what he billed me for it, I'm like, this is getting kind of ridiculous. Still cheaper than a new unit and the cost of laying that out at one time. So I went ahead and got a set of manifold gauges and a thermometer so that I could do the subcooling method of putting the thermometer on the high line, the red, the liquid line, and measuring what the variance was between the liquid line pressure temperature, translating the PSIG into an R410A temperature reading, and then subtract that from the physical liquid line. And that would tell me, whether I needed to add any R410A. My compressor has a 10 degree plus or minus 3, so whatever this temperature and that temperature come out to be, if there's a variance of anything less than 7 degrees, I need to add coolant, and even if it was 7 degrees, I'd add coolant to get it into the 10 or 11 degree range. So I went ahead and got these gauges and this thermometer. Let me move that out of the way. And I went ahead and bought R410A, which I don't know if you can see all that, but it's a big giant pink can of 25 pounds of 410A, which is ridiculously priced from the AC guys, because they charge an arm and a leg per pound, and I paid, I think, $100 for a 25-pound can of it. So fast forward to a couple weeks ago, I called my AC guy on a Friday. This past Friday was a 2-week window. Called him on a Friday afternoon, saying, "Hey bud, I need you to come out. I think I need a recharge." He said, "Yeah, you're catching us right at the beginning of the season. It's not busy yet. Let me call you back for an appointment time." So that was a Friday afternoon. I said, "Yeah, I just want to get on your list. I'm not in any hurry." So a week went by. So the following Friday, I called. I said, "Hey, just checking back to see where we're falling on the list so that we'll know when you can come out and do the recharge." And again, this is simple stuff for them. So it's low-hanging fruit and it's the cheapest, but they'll still make a few $100. They just won't make thousands of dollars installing a new unit, which he wanted me to go in for, and all the wonderful guarantees that he'd get it working. I'm like, "Nah, I'm too old. Job might not be there. Not worth spending the money." And I've gone down this path too many times. And I'm kind of ready to throw in the towel on calling AC techs. So that was another Friday, so a week had gone by. I waited Monday, no response. Tuesday, I called, and it didn't go to voicemail because his voicemail box is full, which means people are starting to call and it's getting busy. So couldn't leave a voicemail, and then I hung up, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to call somebody else. Called a local tech that sends me flyers every month, annoying flyers every month. And I said, "Yeah, I need someone to come out and do a recharge." And I'm thinking I called and talked to just the call person, not necessarily a tech. And when I was talking with them, they said, "Can you hold for a second?" And they took all my information, and then came back and said, "Do you know what kind of coolant you need?" And I said, "Yeah, I need R410A." And then they came back on the phone and said, "Okay, for the diagnostic fee and then for the tune-up fee." And I said, No. I don't want any of that stuff. I don't need any of that stuff. I need a recharge. And they came back, and she, hold on just a minute, came back and said, "Yeah, we can't do that." I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that? How do you recharge somebody's unit when they are low on the coolant? And the response was, "Well, after you pay for the service, diagnostic, and tune-up." I'm like, "Oh, okay. So what you want me to do is pay for a bunch of bullshit, layered on charges, before you then soak me for the real work, which will be putting the charge into the compressor and how many pounds of 410A plus the time for the tech to do that." So that would have been a ridiculously expensive bill. So I decided to take that money. I did a little more research, and I've got a few more things on the way, so this video won't get posted for a few days. I decided to get some quick disconnects, and then after I ordered these, I found out there's a different type of connector to limit your exposure to potential frostbite, which is why I picked up some rubbery, thick, I wouldn't call it thick, but rubberish gloves. I'll call these my tech gloves, so that when I start unscrewing my Schrader valves for my liquid line and my vacuum line, there's another type of connector called a low loss. So apparently when you're connecting these to your Schrader valve, you're going to get some kickback from the Freon or the R410A, just because you're initiating the connection. And the gloves help that, but apparently these low loss connectors are a little bit better. So those are on order, will be here in a couple days, and timing couldn't be better because it's going to be 100 every day this week. So I'm grateful that I'm going to be doing this. And just to play it safe, because what a lot of, and I saw my tech do this, and I forgot to finish the story on my tech. So when I called and he said, or rather I got the voicemail box full message, he called back like 5 minutes later and said, hi, you called? I'm like, hey, you know, so-and-so, I'm not going to give out names. Hey, so-and-so, this is so-and-so, and oh yeah, I got, you're at XYZ, blah, 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 yeah. All right, let's pencil in tomorrow, which would be a Wednesday afternoon. If not, then we'll do it Thursday. Great. Wednesday comes, nothing. Thursday comes, no calls, no nothing. So I'm like, all right, we're done. That's when I decided to invest the money in doing this myself, watching a few more videos. And this is not rocket science, potentially dangerous, but not rocket science, especially doing a little research. So knowing what I'm doing with subcooling, when to bleed valves off and whatnot. And the biggest issue, and I remember when my tech did this, he was using the vapor line and just doing quick open closes so that he wouldn't damage the compressor with liquid. Well, this particular quick charge hooks up to the vapor line and allows you to open that up for a much longer period of time without having to do this quick open, quick close to damage your compressor. So I'm going to attach this to my low line / vapor / vacuum line, and I'll be doing that this week. I am waiting. I ordered, like I said, a couple more things. I ordered the low loss connectors, which actually come with the ball valve as well. So these will be going back. And I also picked up a scale, which is not really necessary. That's more for technicians, so they know exactly how much to charge you. But the reason I got the scale was so I know how many pounds I'm putting in, because when my system is completely empty, I think it takes just under 7 pounds. According to the label, 6 pounds in a certain amount of ounces. So just having the scale gives me a little peace of mind knowing how much I'm putting in. And what the deal that came with the scale was another set of gauges. So now the scale, the gauges, all the garbage, everything's ready to show up. And in the next couple days, I don't know if I'm going to make a video doing it because, again, I'm not a tech by any means, but I enjoy hacking around and learning new things. And I'll be taping. What's funny is, again, I bought this 3 years ago. In fact, I just put the batteries in today. And this is I could do both the vapor line and the liquid line with this particular thermometer. And I didn't want to spend hundreds of dollars on a Fluke or any other high-end thermometer. So that's my setup for right now. And it'll be an interesting week because, like I said, it's going to be wicked hot. 100 degrees, which means in the house and in some of the rooms it'll be significantly hotter. So we'll see how my journey with becoming a hack AC tech recharge specialist works out. Take care, folks.